Didn't sleep too badly. Had a funny old dream, but yeah, like I went to board a plane to ask for help on how to get somewhere, and the plane started taking off. I'm like, where are we going? I was trying to get a ticket to somewhere else or something. It was funny. I'm like, where are we going? Where was it? Hockney or something? Hockey? Yeah, anyway, eventually I found it back to where I should be, and it was alright. But yeah, yeah, I didn't mean to make out as though Microsoft and Apple and Elon Musk and all these people are enemies. I was just more saying, you know, well, Astro Boy's even a robot, but I suppose like Superman himself is sort of a natural a uh, natural entity. Like he's all about peace, and they say Astro Boy is sort of caring, gentle, and wise. Whereas technology is sort of more developed for weaponry, I suppose, to begin with. Or can be used that way. So I suppose that's what I mean. And I use enemy in a nice way because I'm sort of a bit Christian at heart. I sort of love my enemies. I don't see enemy as a bad thing. It's more like you're in the boxing ring, you got someone to fight. They're like without that you wouldn't have a fight. Without the opponent. I'm not saying they're an opponent to God or anything. But it's just been my challenge in life to understand computers, and they sort of irritated me a lot for a long time. Like not so much when I was younger. They're quite exciting, but just more recently, it's sort of like just feels like being hacked and hassled, and you get all this scamming and stuff going on, and I suppose it's become the new medium for committing crime, and trafficking, and all this underbelly, dark web and stuff. It's even though some of it's monitored and tracked, and that there's probably a lot of it that isn't. So it sort of becomes enemy in a way that it causes me to fight all the time, and wear myself out. So it's not like I'm hating these people or technology. It's maybe just being misused. It's just not working in my favor. So I'm trying very hard to meet people and all this stuff using technology, but it never helps, and it feels like I'm getting nowhere with it. And that could be my failing of going through mental health, but still, we should be fighting for acceptance of people with different. They call it mental health realities, but I'm in the same reality as anyone else. It's just I've been through traumatic experience I've had to recover from, and it's affected my lifestyle. So I've sort of lived more of a solitary life, mixing with people on a platonic level, not really engaging fully in a loving sort of environment that I really expected out of life. But I came from a broken. Sorry, it's early. I came from a broken family, so my parents split up. So when I was a kid, so we didn't sort of see our extended family that much. A little bit at Christmas or different occasions, but so I'm just saying that as an enemy because it's making me work harder than that I should, really, just to meet someone and have a good time. That's all I really want to do in life. I don't care about all the other stuff. It's more the mechanics, all this superpower crap and all that other rubbish. It's just the mechanics of what I've been through, talking about the growth I've been through. So it's all natural, it's just natural growth when you're struggling and fighting for every breath, So I went through many years where I felt like I was going to die every day. I was going through so much stress, and just to try and keep my life going, I was never in a nice comfort zone, you know. They probably expect me to be in a comfort zone here, but it's good having a house, a unit. It's good having a place to put all my things and feel at home. But ultimately, it sort of feels like I'm still staying in a hotel unit or something. I'm still sort of parking myself before I get to my destination, you know, to feel home. But I have felt home before. It was just renting. So you always have that feeling you're going to leave again. So it's nice to have a house you own. And I think everyone should have the right to just be able to pay off their home. It's becoming impossible to buy a home unless you're already filthy rich. So, which shouldn't be the case. We should be able to get that payment, a decent payment as a safety net. In case we can't afford a home, we should be able to afford just a basic, decent home, you know. That's all we really need, really. The rest falls into place. But they just fucked around the payments, you know, the funding of people. It's been misspent, you know, spending on all these, subsidies and things that a lot of people don't use. You know, they're putting all this money into stuff we don't use, and they could just put it in people's pockets. They're probably scared they'll just spend it on drugs, but the thing is, they have to resort to drugs because they can't afford to live. So that's the reason they go to drugs, because they can't see a positive light. You know, they're just wanting to block it out, or, you know, give up on living a good life, and they just think, oh well, you know, we'll just take drugs, and they end up dealing drugs to make the money they need to afford their life, and that becomes a lifestyle, and they get caught up in that community. I fought against it to get away from that sort of thing, but so I know I didn't want a bad sort of, you know, end up on some kind of health problem, you know, where you're just fighting some kind of disease or something all the time. With drugs debilitate your body, and you don't see it coming. You just think, oh, I'm all right. And the next thing you know, you've passed out, or some other bloody thing happened. Like, it happened to me once, and that was enough for me. I didn't want anything like that to happen to me again. And it's not something I ever went looking for, drugs. I just came from friends and that influence. So yeah, I've always liked having my full faculties and my full realities and everything nice and straight, you know. Really, I'm that kind of guy. Like, that's why I say I'm like Ken and Barbie, because I'm like that. I like a straight, happy, fulfilling, healthy lifestyle where everything's the word I used was clean cut, you know. Like, that's the way I am, you know. But I grew up in a small country town, a lot of rough nuts, and I ended up a bit that way. And I should have probably always lived up near where Mum was born, up near the beach or something, and had a nice home up there. But Mum and Dad sort of couldn't agree on buying a home, and they ended up the bush. So we ended up little bush nuts sitting around the campfire, which was nice too. Like, I cherish all those moments, but didn't lead to a good adulthood. That's all. Not to say my adulthood wasn't good. Like, it's all good, but it wasn't the adulthood I expected. It was a very bad experience when I was 20, and then, which could have been 2 going to uni, but I think it was 2. We didn't get the funding we needed, so I couldn't afford a college dorm. You know, so I couldn't afford to stay at college, and I had to travel hours every day just to get there and back, and it was just exhausting and wearing me down. I was running everywhere trying to get my work done, and, you know, I just felt like I was in a rush everywhere all the time, and I should have been able to just walk to college, come to school. I think everyone should be able to get a college dorm or live close by, you know. When they go to uni, like especially Melbourne Uni, you have all those beautiful colleges, and just a little room there would have been great, but didn't get the funding, didn't get the money. Sort of got cut around 1980, mid-80s, or around the bicentennial. They cut the funding. I don't know why. They just didn't keep increasing. They sort of got to 300, and then they sort of shit it off. And now it's like, what, 500 or something. It should be a lot more. It should be thousands by now with all this new innovations and stuff. How are you supposed to afford anything? You really have to struggle just to get a TV or something. It's like, I know you say you have to work for everything, and sure, you have to work if you can work. A lot of people can't work, and also to get work, you also need to have money to get work. It costs money to get a job. If you're spending it all just on your daily needs like rent and food, where you got money to dress up and look nice and get all the things you need to get a job? Like you'd say, oh no, you just look it up online and get a job, but it's not that easy. Yeah, I can't explain how. I've tried before. It's very hard to get a job with no money. Or the job that you're really suited for, you have to sort of do shitty jobs that you don't really aren't suited for. You get bogged down, you get depressed, end up in the same cycle again. So, and I think because it affects us, it also affects regular nuclear families that have a good life. It affects them as well because they're affected by crime, they're affected by drug use, they're affected by prostitution and all this sort of shit going around, fucking around with people. So it's not just because we've had a broken family that we're the problem or something. It's widespread throughout the whole community. So we're depending on movies to pass the time. It's always pressure on Hollywood. So these people are sort of more up the chain and getting all the pressure on them, and then really the whole world should be moving up. That's why I mentioned the whole royal family should have gone up a notch from being royals up to being some sort of I don't know what the word is for them. Not matriarchs. That popped in my head. There's sort of monarchs, the royal family. There's sort of the currency sort of. They got their head on the dollar. That's the sort of role they sort of play. But they should have moved up by now. That whole royal sort of. I shouldn't go on about it, but that's just how I see it. I think our family is quite a big family, really, our extended family. And it's all correct how a family is actually born, but we're just sort of all these misconceptions in society. But our royal family is born the way it's supposed to be born. It's not supposed to be exactly perfect because the way the genes are spread and stuff, it's supposed to have sort of a few little faults and failings in it, so it's not exactly perfect because that's what makes it bigger, and the different rooms and chains in the whole castle structure sort of dependent on these different differentialities in our family, and having half brothers and half sisters, and it's all normal, that kind of thing. But the way it happens is a bit tragic. It shouldn't be that bad. Like, it should just be people sleeping with other people and sort of sneaking off and doing things, and like doing something with the milkman or something. It's all supposed to be a little bit strange and a bit unusual, but I mean the whole premise that we live in a castle is a bit dated, really. Why would you live in a castle now when in these days when you're not having these sort of wars anymore? Castles are designed as forts, so the fact we're just living in houses is more like we should just have like a wide, sprawling sort of homestead on a big property somewhere, but it didn't happen the way it should. But my point is, the English royals should have moved up to like the next thing up. I can't think what it sort of is, like chancellor's the right word, or there's another tier after royalty as you go further up the chain, up towards gods and things. No, it's not for me to say, but it's there in my mind. But I probably shouldn't talk about it. But we should have our own little kingdom, our family. Dad's always felt like a bit of a king, I suppose, just sitting on his throne all day. I'm a bit more like the prince that goes out on his horse, gallops around and looks for his bride. And I always felt like I was a bit like Prince Charming, but a bit worn out from all my bullshit. But you look in there, there's sort of a Prince Charming there somewhere. Oh, yeah, so got a happy little fun man, really. But yeah, just concepts I play around with because I've lived through these sort of experiences that's given me these feelings. They're not just come from nowhere; they come from the heart, but they're not being accepted and loved. So I sort of struggle with it. But, I'm sure there's many other people out there that have roles to play in this sort of whole scenario that just aren't getting the love they need and acceptance, and that's why I feel like this is the enemy, these sort of phones, and it all sort of dilutes the passion of the world into sort of formulas and mathematics and sort of calculating our lives into sort of boxes, and it's not ideal, really. Like, there shouldn't be so much attention on technology. It should really be in the background, not in the foreground. All the other stuff gets forgotten about, doesn't it? We should have all sorts of other nice things to enjoy rather than just phones. It becomes the focus of all our attention. Yeah, I try and think of another solution, but I'm not going to give that away online for free or anything, just give things away like that. So I think I've done enough giving away stuff online. So yeah, I think I have to delete some of these videos off my phone. They must be taking up a lot of room by now. I make a lot of videos. Anyway, I don't know how these phones have such big hard drives. Well, I'm fascinated again by phones and hard drives and technology. Oh, might go camping, I think. Get away from it all. And take my fridge and my solar panels and my TV and my everything camping. Not really camping, is it? I just like getting out with my backpack and my tent and I'll take my car, but and my dog and just sitting by the river and just forgetting about it all. I have had that experience up at Catherine where I took off with nothing and for a whole month and just lost 35 kilos or 30 kilos and just enjoyed the wilderness. It was a bit dangerous though to do that, I suppose, but I was well prepared. I did a preparation run to make sure I'd be all right, and I got back safe. So scared my parents, my family. Not something I'd do again unless I told everyone and prepared better and took the right gear and everything. I came back basically with nothing. So my jeans and my shoes and my FM radio is still up there somewhere in the bush under a rock ledge. Maybe one day when I'm old, I'll go up and find it all. I'll go look and have a look around, find it still sitting there. Oh dear. I brought my wallet back of all things. I've still got my wallet. It still smells like the bush sort of sitting in the rivers, and everything got wet, and what a time. Like Jesus going out in the desert, I went out to Catherine National Park and just wandered around for a month. It was bloody hot. I just sat in the river. Lucky there was water. I would have been dead otherwise. There was water out there, so I wandered around drinking river water. It was nice to forget about society. I just forgot about society. I used the sun to get home. My lesson, use the sun. I just knew that was northwest, and I just went a trek straight for Catherine and found the main road. So, yeah, I found a house actually. It was unlocked, so I went in and ate some food. I scared the lady half to death when she got home. I was sitting out there, and what the hell are you doing in my house? I'm like, oh look, I just had to take refuge. I was lost, and eventually she sort of understood, I think. But anyway, I had a buffalo steak. She's listening. Thanks very much. And I apologise for breaking into your sanctuary. See you later.